Testing, testing.
It was muted. Audio test 1, 2, 3, just checking to see if we are coming through on the Zoom platform. All right. Thank you so much, Jose and Jessica and Courtney. Thank you. We have confirmation that our audio is good. Good morning to city staff. Good morning, executives, commissioners, members of the public. If there's anyone who wishes to offer commentary on any of our agendized items or public comment, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on and hand it to me. I'll record information for the record and call upon you when we reach your hour. Good morning to our attendees on the virtual platform as well. I do see a couple of hands raised. I'm going to go ahead and ask those members of the public who have their hands raised if they would like to offer commentary this morning. And I'll start with Georgina.
Yes, please, public comment, and I'd like to speak on the minutes.
Thank you, Georgina. I have you down for public comment and addressing the minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. Audit LA, good morning.
Good morning, TJ. I would like public comment and all agenda items, please.
Very well. I have you down for public comment and all agenda items.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. If there are any other members of the public who wish to offer commentary, please raise your hand, identify yourself for the record, indicate which item you'd like to speak on. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. I would like to make a short announcement that the board will take a short recess of approximately 30 minutes, right around 10:30 this morning, to participate and encourage staff to participate in Mayor Bass's honoree or remembrance of the 1-year anniversary of the Palisades and Eaton fires, which is taking place here at City Hall on the South Lawn. I'll make another announcement right as we start the meeting. And again, that will be approximately a 30-minute recess. We'll pause the meeting right around 10:25, and we'll resume it right around 10:55. Thank you. Good morning once again to city staff, executives, members of the public. If there are any members of the public who are joining us in the hearing room and wish to offer public comment, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room on the table. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on and hand it to me. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. Good morning also to our attendees who are joining us on the virtual platform. I currently have Georgina and Audit LA who've indicated that they wish to offer commentary. I do see a hand raised. Gigi, would you like to offer commentary this morning?
Yes, I would like general public, and then I want to speak on the minutes and item number 5.
Very well. I have you down for general public comment, the minutes, and item 5. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. If there are any other member of the public, if there are any other members of the public who wish to offer commentary, please raise your hand. Identify yourself for the record and which item you'd like to speak on. And once again, this morning the board is going to take a approximately 30-minute recess to join Mayor Bass to reflect on the 1-year anniversary of the Palisades fire. This is this morning at around 10:30 a.m. on City Hall South Lawn, so we will pause the meeting and restart the meeting after the conclusion of the ceremony, which should be around 10:55 or 11 a.m. It is 9:55. We should get started with the meeting in approximately 5 minutes. Thank you. President King, we are now in record mode and ready to begin today's meeting.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, January 7, 2026. Mr. Knight, please take roll and establish quorum.
Thank you, President King. Good morning. President King, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, and Commissioner Mitchell are present. Commissioner Cardenas is out on a scheduled vacation. We're joined by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. My name is TJ Knight. I'm with the Board of Public Works. President King, we have 3 public comments, 1 single item commenter, and 1 multiple agenda item commenter joining us on the virtual platform. We have 1 general public comment card here in the hearing room this morning. We have no neighborhood council commentary submitted this morning.
Thank you very much. As announced, you might have heard earlier, today is the 1-year anniversary of the wildfires that devastated many parts of our region, including here in the city of Los Angeles and our Pacific Palisades community. So there would be a flag lowering and rising ceremony at 10:30 a.m. hosted by our Mayor Karen Bass. So we will be hosting a brief recess at 10:30 for all the commissioners and the public to attend, and we will start right back up as soon as that ceremony is over. But we will get through as many items as we can in the interim. So without further ado, we will start with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items, and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We will start with in-person speakers. We have 1 speaker, Ty Farman.
Please approach the podium and you'll have 60 seconds to offer your commentary.
Good morning. Happy New Year, you guys. I wanted to make brief comment on what I hope will be addressed to the Board of Public Works, the Port of Los Angeles, and the Board of Supervisors regarding an active clean air defense system throughout Los Angeles County. The city of Gardena, I made a stop, show a face at environmental commission's meeting. It was last night. No one was there, some staff, but the point is getting a statement of feasibility and capability from them is not going to be an impossibility, and hopefully ongoing Public Works can review, assess that, have it run by supervisors, and an aim to have the project approved. That is all. All right. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. We will now transition to our virtual platform.
Thank you, President King. We'll start with Georgina, followed by Adedele. Georgina, please unmute and you'll have 60 seconds to offer your public comment.
Thank you, board. Thank you, TJ. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to address the issue of L. Ron Hubbard Way being named after a church leader. We don't have a Jesse Graham Way. We don't have a Reverend Jesse Jackson Way. Why do we have an L. Ron Hubbard Way? It's a violation of the First Amendment rights of separation of church and state. Well, actually, I don't know if that's First Amendment. I'm speaking out my ass right now because I'm getting distracted, but it is a violation of our rights to separation of church and state. And I don't understand why it ever came to place in the first place. It needs to be changed. It's a travesty. It really is. There's people that have suffered at the hands of that man, and yet we have a street named after him. We don't have a Hitler Way. We don't have a Charles Manson Way. We need to address this and have it fixed. Thank you. I yield back my time.
And we'll move next to Adedele, followed by Gigi. Adedele, please unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. Yes, I want to continue on the same line. I mean, it's not just the street, it's everything that they do, all the abuse of the permits, of the neighbors, and of anyone who's critical, including especially the former people who grew up and were victimized by them. You know, Laura Femme has told you that they cost her her job, turning her life upside down. And she's somebody who was victimized by them growing up, and the torture and criminal activity that she had to endure, which but now they're continuing to torture her because she's speaking up, and you guys are just giving them, thing after thing, just as, oh, here you go, here's your permit, when these people are actively trying to ruin, myself included, all of anyone that's speaking up. But we're speaking up because we're so passionate, because we, what they do, what they've always done, and it needs to stop. Stop giving them permits. They don't abide by them. They break
Thank
your
you.
rules,
Thank you,
and you're like,
Adelaide. That's 60
reward them.
seconds. We'll move next to Gigi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so when you guys signed up for this job, I wonder if you knew this was going to be part of your job every single meeting, having to sit here and listen about Scientology over and over endlessly. Like, I would, if I were you, I would be annoyed because that's not what you came into the job thinking it was. This is something that most people don't have to deal with in their job. But I'm starting to think that you guys actually like it because you guys aren't doing anything. You're not taking action. If you guys would just listen and get rid of the permits, don't let them get permits when they're violating. If you would treat them equal like other entities, like everyone else, we wouldn't have stuff to complain about. We wouldn't be here speaking about Scientology every single meeting for multiple years at this point. So please, like, even if you like us, just do something about it. Like, do something, please. Thank you. I yield my time.
President King, that concludes public comment. However, there is an additional hand raised on the virtual platform. If you'd like, I can ask.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Laura FM, would you like to offer general public comment this morning?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, you have 60 seconds.
Stop giving Scientology these permits, you guys. I'm literally at my end. You guys are ruining my life by allowing this. I don't feel safe in my own city. Literally, I have to move out of my apartment. So please stop giving them permits. You guys are ruining my life, literally. I have to move out of my apartment to another state because of this.
And it appears that Laura FM has left the meeting, and that concludes public comment this morning. President Kane.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the general public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We will start with our virtual platform.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President King. We'll go ahead and start with Georgina. You've indicated that you wish to offer commentary on the minutes, and you'll have 60 seconds to do so.
Thank you. Yeah, the minutes need to reflect the fact that Laura has been begging and pleading for your help for well over a year now. We've all been begging and pleading for your help. This has been devastating to so many families, and we talk about it week after week, and yet it's not reflected on the minutes. It needs to be included. You need to have a better system for filing your YouTube videos as well. It shows just LABPW. It doesn't have the date. How are you supposed to look anything up? Everything is just labeled the exact thing, same thing. You have hundreds going back years, all just with LABPW as the title. Include the date, please. It would make it so much more helpful for people to be able to find these speakers, find these comments. If you're not going to include them in the minutes, at least do that. Thank you. I yield back my time.
And we'll move next to Adelaide. Adelaide, you've indicated that you wish to offer multiple agenda item commentary, and you'll have 3 minutes to do so. Please indicate which item you're speaking on.
Yes, good morning again. Let's start with minutes first. I agree. The minutes don't reflect the long, difficult journey that this has been. And right now, Scientology is winning, and I would like the minutes to reflect that. This week we lost a very, a warrior who's trying to fight hard for the children, and the victims of Scientology, right? And it's not reflected. Laura Femme, her just telling her that how they destroyed her life, her entire life, and now pursuing her because she would dare speak up about what she endured. That's not going to be reflected. Um, so now I'm going to skip to number 5, the lighting district. That's Blue Buildings district, okay, because it's the next corner. Fountain and New Hampshire is 1 block away. And actually they have property there, so it affects them. I would say save the city some money because it is very apparent that Scientology owns that area. Okay, they are the boss. They are your boss over their area because they get whatever they want. They are the city's boss, the mayor's boss, everybody's boss because nobody is putting them in check. They put the city in check. So why not let them do that area's lighting? They have the money. They have billions of dollars. Okay, let them handle it because it's their turf. It's their Vatican City. Let them do it. And the next thing I want to talk about is the neighborhood councils. Like I've said numerous times, there's no time for neighborhood councils to speak up. And maybe there's neighborhood councils who will finally see what's going on and say, you know what, enough's enough. We don't want a Vatican City of Scientology in our community, acting as if they own everything, as if they never have any accountability, as if they are never going to be put in check, because it creates a monster. Okay, they get to do whatever they want without any repercussions, any challenges, anything, because they own it, they run it. The next one is for the bids. I'll change it up a little bit. Again, bids, we talked about every time now, we have to worry about human trafficking, right? And it's not just Scientology for labor. Because their labor trafficking is going to be on their compound. But we've learned that this stuff still exists. So we still have to be careful for everyone else to make sure that no one is going to be labor trafficked and not not paid what they should be paid. The other one is for Hyperion. Well, I've always talked about this too. I don't know why they don't know the budget's going in. It seems like
Thank
we're
you,
always.
Adelaide. That's 3 minutes, and we'll move next to Gigi. You've indicated that you wish to offer commentary on the minutes and item 5, so that will give you 2 minutes.
Okay, so on the minutes, just repeating what the 2 previous people had said, like, I'm repeating myself and what I've said 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times. Like, we keep telling you about the minutes, and it's something so simple, and it doesn't seem important enough to you guys for some reason, but it really is. Like, I don't think you understand that there's more to it than just speaking to Public Works. Like, there's stuff that should be documented in case people are going to court for legal battles and stuff. Like, there needs to be some type of documentation. Like Georgina said, the YouTube, all the things are titled the same thing and have the same picture. Like, how are you supposed to find anything? If you had the minutes, that would be easier. And there's AI where you can search through the minutes and we could, have that. But you don't document anything except that public comment was received. That is unacceptable. Please just fix it. And then number 5, that's like a block away from L. Ron Hubbard Way. Okay. Right there, the sidewalk is all messed up. Like, the sidewalk is a freaking liability to the city, a huge, huge liability. It can hurt someone. You guys can get sued. Why is no one fixing that? The lights, okay, whatever, that's kind of important. But the sidewalk is a freaking liability. Why can't y'all go over one street and fix the sidewalk? I yield my time.
And that concludes multiple agenda item commentary this morning, President Kang.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the approval of minutes for Monday, December 15th, 2025. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So moved.
First by Vice President Chavez, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and this item is approved unanimous.
Thank you very much. Heading into our agenda, we will first vote on consent items number 7 and 8. We'll go with number 7 and 8, which are on consent. 7 is release of stop notice, and then 8 is to advertise for the invitation of bids in CD 8 for Vermont Avenue East Primary Sewer Rehabilitation. I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of items 7 and 8, starting with you, President Kang,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, items 7 and 8 are adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving to our assessment hearings, 1 through 6. We'll take them up together. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. I'm here to address today's assessment hearings, notably item 1, the Kester Avenue and Chase Street Lighting District. Item 2, Mission Road and Jesse Street number 1 Lighting District. Item 3, Killian Street and Vesper Avenue number 1 Lighting District. Item 4, the Beacon Street and 16th Street Lighting District. Item 5, New Hampshire Avenue and Fountain Avenue number 1 Lighting District. And item 6, Violent Avenue and Weddington Street number 1 Lighting District. Items 1 through 6 pertain to lighting districts which we are creating in conjunction with private development projects. Ballots for items 1 through 6 were mailed on November 19th, 2025. Ballots for items 1 through 6 must be received by the City Clerk's office by January 13th, 2026. We have not received any objections to date on items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. We are requesting for the board to deny the protest on item 5, which we just listened to a few minutes ago. We are requesting for the board to adopt and forward items 1 through 6 forthwith to City Council.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments on the light assessments? All right, seeing none. Is there a first and a second for items 1 through 6?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of items 1 through 6 together, starting with you, President Kang,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and items 1 through 6 will move forward in the council confirmation process forthwith.
Thank you very much. And since you're up here, why don't we go straight to item 11, since you're also here for item 11, and if you could also make a verbal amendment, some minor transmittal to the mayor and city council requesting.
Yes, to begin, we need to amend the board report, specifically on page 1, recommendation number 2. We want that amendment to read, approve and forward this report with transmittals to the mayor and the city council, requesting that the president or 2 commissioners of the Board of Public Works be authorized to execute a second amendment and restated supplemental agreement between NBS and BSL to extend the contract end date to December 15, 2027. I'll now begin. I prepared a little bit of a timeline that hopefully TJ has passed to all of you. Just to follow as I was preparing the staff report, I realized there was a lot of dates, and just for the commissioners to be able to follow a little bit easier, I just created this one-page timeline for you. We're requesting for the board to adopt item 11 and forward this report with transmittals to the mayor's office and the city council, requesting that the president or 2 commissioners of the board be authorized to execute a second amended and restated supplemental agreement between NBS and BSL to extend the contract end date to December 15, 2027. The original personal service contract with NBS for a database software to complete over 550,000 new assessment calculations and make recommended changes to Proposition 218 related documents to better position the Bureau to conduct a citywide mail ballot measure was adopted by the board on April 9th, 2021, executed by the board on May 27th, 2021, commenced on June 14th, 2021, and expired on September 7th, 2024. The board adopted our supplemental agreement number 1 with NBS on May 18th, 2022, and the agreement was executed on June 22nd, 2022. Now, this agreement added 9 months to the contract extension, but it also added new services, notably polling and public relations services, which increased the contract financial obligation by an additional $1.294 million, making the total financial obligation $1,539,000. The board also adopted our First Amendment to Supplemental Agreement number 1 with NBS on February 22nd, 2023, and the First Amendment was executed on October 17th, 2023. Now, this First Amendment didn't change the financial obligation, it just extended the contract end date by an additional 12 months. The second amended and restated supplemental agreement will allow NBS to continue and complete various tasks pertaining to our public outreach engagement and our citywide ballot measure. The board report describes 9 tasks. The first 5 tasks are identical from the original contract. We completed tasks 1 through 4, but we need to finalize the ballot design and complete task 5. Task 6, which added polling and public relation engagement services for the supplemental agreement in 2022. Similarly, Task 7 defines some outreach coordination efforts. Task 8 pertains to the engineer's report, which needs to be updated. And Task 9 is for NBS to continue to provide guidance and consulting services to the Bureau of Street Lighting. There is no change in financial obligation per this contract extension. Why not, just for the record and for anyone listening, give a little bit of a background. After the passage of Proposition 218, the right to vote on taxes as in 1996, the Los Angeles City Lighting District, consisting of approximately 510,000 parcels and providing approximately $45 million annually to the Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment Fund, was and remains frozen. The Bureau has been able to operate despite the Bureau's main revenue source being frozen for 30 years by implementing cost-saving measures such as our LED conversion program and high voltage conversion program and other cost-saving measures as well. Ultimately, the Bureau has to create a new LA City Lighting District consisting of all 550,000 parcels via a mail-in ballot measure in compliance with Proposition 218 that will incorporate an inflation index and allow benefiting properties the opportunity to decide if they want to improve the city's street lighting services or allow for these services to decrease. The city's total financial obligation under this contract shall not exceed $1,539,000. There is no impact on the general fund. Funding for this contract is being paid from the Bureau of Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment Fund. We are in a much better position today moving forward with our citywide ballot measure than we were at the beginning of this contract. For example, the database software to perform the 550,000 assessment calculations was completed. Furthermore, our ordinance of initiation was adopted by the City Council on November 29, 2022, and approved by our former Mayor Garcetti on December 8, 2022. The engineer's report as to language and form was approved by the City Attorney's Office on January 31st, 2023. Moreover, the ordinance of intention as to language and form was approved by the City Attorney's Office on February 1st, 2023. In addition, we created a new website that's ready to be launched and a new bilingual information guide. And that's the big sheet that I have. It's just an information guide just to give you an idea of some of the PR work that we've already completed. We remain optimistic that we will mail the ballots for our citywide ballot measure in the summer of 2026. Because we have exhausted the typical 3-year lifespan of a personal service contract, we need to seek City Council approval, and we plan to do so next month. Again, we are requesting for the board to approve item 11 and forward this report with transmittals to the mayor's office and the City Council, requesting that the president or 2 commissioners of the board be authorized to execute a second amended and restated supplemental agreement between NBS and BSL to extend the contract end date to December 15th, 2027. Thank you so much, and I'll take any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you very much. Briefly, do you mind highlighting for the members of the public on the record what would be some of the public benefit of these assessments?
Well, again, we're trying to improve safety. First and foremost, if you just go a few years back, when we would get calls of lights being out, we used to be able to respond within about 48 hours to 72 hours. Now that response time, because of limited resources, we're not able to generate more revenue to have more crews out to repair our lights. We're looking at about a 9-month to 12-month turnaround time before we can fix some of these lights. One of the other benefits is initially right now, we're not collecting any revenue for copper wire theft and vandalism. So now with this new lighting district, we'll be able to collect some of the revenue and dedicate it towards the copper wire theft and vandalism that we've been having over the last, maybe 5 to 7 years. Prior to that, copper wire theft and vandalism wasn't an issue. So that's why we haven't collected any revenue for it. But this lighting district will be able to do so. So those are some of the benefits that we see moving forward with a successful citywide ballot measure.
Thank you very much. Vice President Chavez.
I'm just curious, as part of this contract, will we be looking at to include any other types of needs, in terms of special benefits that can be provided to property owners in areas adjacent to the lighting, or is it just specific to the lighting?
It's specific to the lighting in general. If you're within about 100 feet of an existing street light, you're considered to be benefiting from the street lighting system. So therefore, you're brought into the district. But pretty much outside of the 100 feet radius, if you're not within, then you're not part of the lighting district, and you won't be assessed.
In other words, the funds generated from this, can they be used for anything other than lighting? Or what's considered, is the area around a street light pole, like the landscaping, the concrete, is that included as part of maintenance?
It's not included as part of maintenance, but one of the things that we'll be doing with some more money is for more connectivity and internet services, EV charging systems that we'll be able to use some of these funds with, which we use. Our poles are now not just to illuminate the sidewalk and roadway, but they're being used now for different functions. And we're working with the communication companies as well. So there's other purposes that we have our street lighting for, and again, internet service, EV charging stations, working with the communication companies to provide additional services to the community.
Okay, so is that needs assessment, is that being done by this analysis that you just mentioned, is that being done internally in street lighting, or is that going to be handled by this consultant?
No, it'll be done internally with street lighting, and we'll be working closely with the council office to determine the locations of where we install the EV charging stations or any potential internet connectivity project.
Okay. I'm just curious because I know other cities in California include other things as part of their street lighting assessments, like landscaping and medians and things like that, that are adjacent to the street lighting. And I'm just curious if that's ever something that BSL has looked at.
Landscaping, to my knowledge, no, we have not looked at that to being a part of our street lighting assessment.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Any other commissioners related to item number 11? All right, seeing none, I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President King. And so we'll take a roll call vote on approval as amended of item 11. And if you'll allow me to restate recommendation number 2 as amended. So for the record, approve and forward this report with transmittals to the mayor and city council, requesting that the president or 2 commissioners of the Board of Public Works be authorized to execute second amended and restated supplemental agreement between NBS and BSL to extend the contract and end date to December 15th, 2027. And we'll take a roll call vote, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and this item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So at this time, the board will take a 30-minute recess to join the mayor and our city family to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the wildfires. So we will reconvene at approximately 11 a.m.
Virginia. We weren't sure if it was you, but then I heard your name, so I was like, good, how are you? Tired. Yeah. Are they filling in? Are you filling in her position? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure because I've been to award meetings like this is my fourth time now. I feel like it's always been a different person per city. Right. Oh, okay. Oh, that sucks. Because I always came on Mondays. This is the first time I'm coming on a Wednesday, so I always thought he was the main liaison for the board here. I thought I was number one, but other than the key printed items, but I don't know. Sorry, one more question. Do you meet with them prior to the more involved in?
All right. Good morning again. Mr. Knight, if you want to reestablish quorum for us.
Yes, thank you, President Kang. TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works, reestablishing quorum and taking roll. We have President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Brandt, Commissioner Mitchell, and we do have a quorum. We are also joined by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. And we are now on item 9.
9, right.
Yes, thank you, President Kang.
All right.
It is 11:01 a.m.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. Heading back to our agenda, item number 9 for Council District 11, revised TOS number 69, Brown and Caldwell.
All right. Good morning. Is it still morning? Yeah. Good morning, Commissioners, City Attorney's Office. My name is Aileen Miller. I'm a project manager with the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division. And I'm accompanied by the project managers, Tom and Erica, from the consulting firm Brown and Caldwell. They're tasked with the Task Order 69 to provide detailed design for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Flare Station Replacement Project, CIP 2520. With this board report, we are requesting authorization to revise the TOS 69 to increase the board authority from $4.4 million to $6.3 million. For a brief recap on the purpose of the project, the Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment, or LASAN, operates the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant digesters, which process these solids that are separated from the main wastewater stream and produces approximately 6 million cubic feet of digester gas per day. Under normal operations, this gas is conditioned through their existing H2S or hydrogen sulfide removal system, so it can be utilized for the on-site power generating facility. When this bioenergy facility or other ancillary facilities are out of service or down for maintenance, Hyperion is required to flare this harmful gas in a controlled environment to prevent the release into the atmosphere. The existing flares at Hyperion were installed over 30 years ago, and they do not meet the current best available control technology or BACT standards required to comply with the South Coast Air Quality Management District, or SCAQMD's latest regulations. And as a result of that, an order of abatement was issued mandating LASAN to bring their flares into compliance. This project will provide Hyperion with a new upgraded flare station that will produce lower nitrogen oxide or NOx emissions, as well as increase operational efficiency. The board approved the award of this TOS 69 to Brown and Caldwell back in October of 2023. Since then, Brown and Caldwell has completed the pre-design phase assessments, which resulted in a comprehensive report for the detailed design recommendations. The project has completed 30% design just this past October and is progressing towards 60% design. So we're well on our way with design progress. We've also begun coordination with SCAQMD's permitting office to facilitate the submission and their review of the permit to construct. I provided a handout with some drawings just to give a better visual representation and just how complex this facility is. And I'll touch on a few of those areas. So throughout the pre-design phase and the 30% design phases, as our normal practice, we have workshops that are held with the LASAN operations, maintenance, their engineering, management staff, as a form of QA/QC to address any concerns they have, and also to consider lessons learned that they've learned from past projects or current facilities that are experiencing difficulties at Hyperion. The plant feedback received resulted in additional scope of work intended to improve safety, ease of maintenance, the reliability, operational efficiency, and ultimately the longevity of the new flare station. On page 5 of the board report, there was a list of the new scope items, but just to focus on some of the main scope items that contributed the most to the cost increases are the new building to house the blowers and moisture removal equipment indoors. The second sheet has the overview of that building. and the size of it. The wet beach environment at Hyperion makes the blowers a constantly rotating piece of equipment, more susceptible to corrosion. And as demonstrated by other facilities within Hyperion experiencing this problem right now, and also puts more wear and tear on the moisture removal equipment. This building will add to the ease of maintenance for the plant, as well as the reliability and longevity of the facility. The next scope item is the added control building or control room to house the flares control panels indoors, because existing outdoor control panels throughout the plant have experienced significant wear and tear, not only due to the corrosive environment, but also the sand damage that's being experienced. So all of that feedback we took in consideration to make this facility more durable. The centralized control room also allows operators to monitor and control multiple flares simultaneously, providing normal operational inspections and troubleshooting efficiency. The next one is just a combination of the expanded electrical building, additional or upsized electrical equipment, and the new outdoor backup emergency power generator, which will add to the reliability and safety of this critical flare station. Recent power outages at Hyperion demonstrated the need for redundancy and independent power source in planning for all future projects. So all of these projects are taking into consideration additional power sources to prevent any downtime for the flares when an emergency occurs. And then lastly, the emergency bypass system for gas piping. This provides a secondary H2S or hydrogen sulfide removal system as a backup to their existing system that is very old. It's almost exceeding its useful service life, so there's a lot of downtime and maintenance required. This will provide them with a backup system, so they won't have to be out of compliance with their hydrogen sulfide removal. This system consists of deep pile foundations and a structural bridge to route new piping connecting the existing system that will allow the digester gas flow to be bypassed and routed to the new H2S removal system. And in that site plan to the right you can see a little bit of that structure. This added scope requires additional design work and other supporting efforts, which are estimated to increase the design cost by approximately $1.8 million, bringing the total consulting contract amount to $5,958,374 before contingency. As previously mentioned, the project is mandated by SCA QMD to meet permit requirements and comply with their latest regulations, and has a really critical deadline we have to meet to stay in compliance and also to avoid fines and potential unfavorable litigation that we've had to face recently. That concludes my presentation. May I take any questions?
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Vice President Chavez.
Yes, thank you. I mean, it's evident to me a need to invest in the replacement of these since we've been made aware that the flares have exceeded the NOx emission limits for several years now. I'm just curious, can you speak to what the interim measures that the Bureau has implemented in order to ensure compliance with South Coast AQMD during up to this point, and also what are the plans to ensure compliance in the interim until the design and construction period is complete?
Yeah, so there is a construction project that is almost complete. It's nearing completion, where we were originally going to just replace parts of the existing facility, flare facility, to in an attempt to bring it into compliance, because the vendor that we had brought out to inspect the flares and to demonstrate their design they were sure that they could meet the new regulation requirements, but because of some technical differences, and the technical experts can speak more on this, but there was some slight differences in the manufacturers that were changed ownership that didn't allow us to pursue that. And ultimately, AQMD deemed that not an acceptable long-term replacement. And so in the meantime, we did repair the existing flares with new parts, but not a full replacement like this project is going to provide.
Okay, so with those repairs, staff doesn't have any immediate concerns with the operational effectiveness for this current term until the new facility is complete?
Correct. Yeah, there are no concerns, and it's an understanding with AQMD that as long as we're meeting the deadline to complete this project and bring the new flare station online, that we would not be in violation of that abatement order.
And then my last question is just relating to funding. I know that the funding beyond the original 1 million hasn't been identified. What's the anticipated timeline for securing the remaining funds?
You're referring to the status of funding. The Financial Management Division for LA SAN, that's a typical statement that they'll put in here because they'll just have to move funds from one account to another. So it's once we went to their program review committee to get approval for funding, the funding was essentially approved. It just wasn't transferred from the account. So the funding has been identified. It just hasn't been allocated to a specific account yet.
I see. So it will be coming from the sewer capital
Yes.
fund, and there's no concerns with the status of that fund.
No, yeah.
Okay.
We have our prioritization lists that we go through meetings every quarter to go over what projects are upcoming and if we have the appropriate cash flow for each fiscal year for construction. And that's when they determine whether a project is above the cut line, meaning it'll have the funds to be able to move into construction. And if it doesn't meet that, then it's below the cut line. So this project is above.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. No further questions.
Thank you very much. I have one. I was glad to see in the additional scope of work that the flare panels are coming indoors, and there are other additional scope of work that has been added. I think this board has seen a number of items come through over our term at the Hyperion where previous designs did not take into account some of the elements that we are near the ocean with salt water and other types of elements that are unique to that particular site. So I'm assuming that we are taking those lessons learned into account when we're designing these.
Yes, very much so. And even these past projects where they thought painting or additional protective coatings would suffice, in a normal outdoor setting it would, but at Hyperion it's proven and tested over the years that it's just not enough in that environment. So.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, is there a first and a second on item number 9?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item 9, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and that item 9 is adopted, and we'll move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much.
I think on the next item.
Correct.
Right?
For item number 10, budget increase, capital improvement project 8189 Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant.
All right. So with this board report, we're requesting authorization for an additional $899,000 and to increase the construction budget to $2,670,000 for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant biological nutrient removal, or BNR, and membrane reactors, MBR, odor control system project, CIP 8189. The original BNR and MBR project was initiated by LA SAN to construct a full-scale pilot facility at Hyperion, as a part of the broader Hyperion 2035 plan that was launched in 2019 to produce 170 million gallons per day of recycled water. This Cisco project, CIP 8189, was awarded in January 2024, and it was initiated to provide comprehensive odor control for this pilot facility that would ensure compliance with the CAQMD Title V permit and also mitigate odor issues with the neighboring El Segundo community. The project scope consists of procurement and installation of custom flush-mounted aluminum planks to cover the MBR and BNR tanks and the pump station wet well, some overhead FRP ductwork system, which includes dampers, which are like louvers, and structural steel supports and railing, in addition to a carbon-based mobile odor control unit. At the initiation of the Cisco project, we had a preliminary design of the aluminum covers. Due to the level of urgency to get the contractor to start the work, we only could go with a preliminary design at that time. But during construction, it was determined that additional structural supports and associated welding was needed to properly secure the tank covers. Additional third-party inspection was also needed as requested by the Bureau of Contract Administration. And overall, the complexity of the cover installation was underestimated at the time, and therefore required more labor hours than the initial budget allotted for. The mobile odor control unit also had to be relocated, which required additional ductwork and supports. On September 2025, President King approved the scope addition as an urgent approval so the construction would not be held up and cause odor control problems. And that concludes my presentation for that project.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments on item number 10? All right. Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item 10, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes. Item 10 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think I'm.
Oh, you're also here for number 12 as well. Great. Number 12, our last item, sole source procurement capital improvement project, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant.
Requesting board approval to sole source the procurement of 30 Rotork actuators for the amount not to exceed $670,000 for the CIP 2517 Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Intermediate Pumping Station Distribution Bay Weir Gates Replacement Project. The Intermediate Pumping Station, or IPS, is comprised of 10 large Archimedes screw pumps capable of pumping 110 to 126 million gallons per day of wastewater. They basically pump the wastewater stream from the primary tanks or primary treatment to the secondary treatment reactor tanks for further solids removal. Flows from the pumps discharged are currently controlled by manually operated weir gates, which are severely corroded and in need of replacement. So again, that corrosion theme keeps coming up. The project proposes to install 30 new electric operated weir gates for remote operation and monitoring. I provided, I don't know if it was passed around. Oh, it was not passed around, but there's a presentation slide.
Yes, we can see it
You can see it
on
okay.
the screen, yes.
I had a hard copy, but I don't need that. Okay. Currently, LACN has standardized the use of the Rotork type actuators. They have over 500 installations across their 4 wastewater reclamation or water reclamation plants. This helps to reduce the maintenance and training costs associated with the equipment by matching the existing equipment. Some benefits also include that they provide double sealed enclosures, non-intrusive infrared commissioning, data logging, and predictive maintenance capabilities. LACN already has a large inventory of spare parts for the Rotork actuators, which are shared between the plants. The other manufacturers that were considered, as you can see on the presentation, were Beck and Limitork. The Beck did not meet the design criteria and requirements to provide fast closing gates needed for this application. Limitorque is very comparable in the design and the price is nearly identical, but they lacked the technical and customer support that LA San needed when maintenance was required. The plant has expressed how they had a poor experience with their support and how Rotorque was able to provide higher level of technical and more technical, knowledgeable Rotorque technician support in lieu of a sales rep. So their Rotorque also has lower spare parts costs and serviceability costs are also lower. For that reason, we request approval to sole source Rotorque actuators for this project.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate your work in helping to kind of bring this document presentation forward and comparing some of the other options available and why the Bureau is advocating for a sole source. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? All right, so I know that this board, along with the mayor and our city attorney, were very much critical when it comes to sole source requests. So I appreciate the due diligence that was put into this request. So without further ado, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item 12, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes. Item 12 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much.
So much for your time.
With that, Mr. Knight, does that conclude our voting items for today?
Yes, it does, President Kang.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be on Friday, January 9th, 2026 at the Van Nuys City Hall. So look forward to seeing many of our Valley stakeholders. The meeting is now adjourned at 11:23 a.m.